Okay, now we'll solve some problems related with Fourier transforms and Fourier integral representations. So this is the outline. First we'll do some representation problems in which a given function has to be represented as integral involving sine function and cosine function. And in the second part we will be finding the Fourier transforms, Fourier sine transforms and cosine transforms of some simple functions. And at the end we'll see some tricky problems which cannot be solved directly. So the first two are basically using the definition of Fourier transforms and representations. Of course, there is a fourth category which involves the usage of properties of Fourier transforms and sine transforms, etc. So that we have already covered in the previous videos, so I will not be discussing about that. Now, these are the formulas based on which the representation problems are done. So the Fourier integral representation says that f of x can be written as integral 0 to infinity a omega cos omega x plus b omega sin omega x d omega. Here the function f of x is defined over R, that is from minus infinity to infinity, and this a omega is calculated by this formula and b omega is calculated by this formula. Remember that this integral is from minus infinity to plus infinity in both a omega and b omega while doing Fourier integral representations. And the Fourier sine integral representation, okay, this is cosine integral. So in the Fourier cosine integral representation, we consider functions which are defined on the positive part of the x-axis, that is our x is greater than 0. And the Fourier cosine integral, this has to be cosine integral, okay. This is not sine integral, this is cosine integral. So here this f of x has to be represented as an integral involving only cosine function, and this a omega is obtained by this formula. And you observe that there is a 2 here and the integral is from 0 to infinity. That is because the function is defined on the positive part of the real axis. And similarly, for the Fourier sine integral representation, the function has to be given on an interval x greater than 0, and the representation is given by this f of x equal to integral b omega sin omega x d omega, where b omega is 2 by pi integral 0 to infinity f of x into sin omega x dx. And you should observe this is from 0 to infinity and the function is defined in the positive part in both sine representation and cosine representation. Whereas in Fourier integral representation, it is the function has to be defined from minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay, now we'll go to solving problems. So the first problem is to find the integral representation of the function f of x equal to e raised to minus x, where x is greater than 0. And using it, you have to show that integral 0 to infinity, this can be written as 1 by 1 plus omega square cos omega x d omega is equal to pi by 2 e raised to minus x. Okay. And here what you can observe is this f of x is defined only on the positive part. So that indicates that you have to use the sine integral representation or the cosine integral representation. Both can be, any of them can be used. But here you are asked to find any of the integral representation. But in the second part you need to have a cos function here, right? So it implies that you need to use the cosine representation of the function f of x. So for that, a omega is equal to 2 by pi integral 0 to infinity f of x into cos omega x dx. And here the function is e raised to minus x, right? So e raised to minus x you take here instead of f of x. And for doing this kind of a problem, you have a simple formula which is this integral from, I am not putting the integral limit, it is just integral e raised to ax into cos bx dx is equal to e raised to ax into b sin bx plus a cos bx divided by a square plus b square. And similarly you have, so you can put whatever be the integral from a to b, you can evaluate from a to b here. You can just put the a and b here for evaluation. And similarly for sine, if you multiply e raised to x by sine and then integrating it, then you will be having, instead of b sin bx and a cos bx, you will be having a sin bx minus b cos bx. That's the only difference. And if you want, you can have a proof here, but this is a thing that you study in your +2. Okay, so I'll not be detailing the proof. If you want, you can read the proof. And similarly, you can find this is a proof for cos function, and similarly you can derive the proof for this second expression also. So we will be using that formula here. So here a is -1 and b is omega, right? So you apply that formula here. So e raised to ax is -1x, and then b sin bx minus plus a sin a cos bx. So a is -1, that's why this minus sign is here, and you need to evaluate from 0 to infinity. So when you put infinity here, it is e raised to minus infinity, which will be the first limit will be 0. And when you put 0 here, e raised to 0 is 1 and sin 0 will be 0, and what remains is cos 0 here. So that will be 1, right? So 0 minus -1 by 1 plus omega square, that is 1 by 1 plus omega square. This 2 by pi will be a constant that will be there. Okay. Now, the cosine integral representation is simply you find a omega and calculate the value. This will be an expression omega. So you substitute that a omega here. So integral 0 to infinity a omega cos omega x d omega is equal to e raised to -x. Sorry that I have written dx here. It has to be d omega. So that's why we have made this correction. Now from this you need to find this solution of this problem, right? So this problem is having 1 by 1 plus omega square into cos omega x only inside, whereas here you have an extra 2 by pi. So you take the 2 by pi outside, because it's a constant, you can take it out of the integration, and you bring it to the right side. So it will be pi by 2 e raised to -6, which is the answer. So that's how we solve this problem. So it's just a typical problem where you need to find the cosine integral representation and manipulate in such a way that whatever is required on the left side is kept left side, and the other terms are taken to the right side. Okay. So this is the formula that I have mentioned. Now this is the second problem. Show that integral 0 to infinity cos omega x plus omega sin omega x divided by 1 plus omega square d omega is equal to this function. This is a function given in branches. Okay. So it is clear that the right side function is expressed as an integral involving both cosine function and the sine function. So that means we need to find the Fourier integral representation of the right side function, because it involves both cosine and sine function. Otherwise I would have, if it is just cos, then I would have gone for the cosine representation. That's what. So here you call the right hand side as f of x. So this entire function can be taken as f of x, and you just go to find the integral representation, Fourier integral representation of this function f of x. Okay. So a omega, so that means you need to find a omega and b omega, and from this problem, this problem says that with cos omega x you have 1 by 1 plus omega square, and with sin omega you have omega by 1 plus omega square. So it should be the case that a omega has to be 1 by 1 plus omega square and b omega has to be omega by 1 plus omega square. So that question itself gives you a hint regarding the values of a omega and b omega. So a omega is 1 by pi integral 0 to infinity. Why I have taken 0 to infinity? Actually it is from minus infinity to infinity, but from minus infinity to 0 the function is entirely 0. So this is actually having integral minus infinity to 0 here, but that is actually useless because you are integrating 0 function. So anyway you are going to get 0 there, and that's why I have omitted this negative part. And regarding x equal to 0, the integral will be from 0 to 0. So you know that the integral from a to a of any function is going to give you 0. So this point will not have any particular value for integral, it will be just 0. So these two need not be taken, because both of them will be 0. At a point, if you evaluate an integral, the answer will be always 0. So that's why you need to take only the x greater than 0 part. So that's why I have taken 0 to infinity f of x into cos omega x dx. Okay, I hope it is clear. The negative part and the 0 point need not be taken, because in the negative part the function is 0, and at a particular point, if the value is different, the integral value will not be affected. It will just integral will be 0 at a point. So now at this point you will have a function x greater, for x greater than 0 you have the function as value pi e raised to minus x. Actually I have to write pi e raised to minus x here, but you already 1 by pi here, right? So pi and pi will get cancelled and will be having integral 0 to infinity e raised to minus x cos omega x dx. And again you apply the earlier formula e raised to x into cos bx formula and evaluate from 0 to infinity. This is exactly same as the previous problem. So we'll be having 1 by 1 plus omega square as in the previous problem. And for finding b omega, you'll be multiplying f of x with the sin omega x. And there you need to apply the sin formula e raised to x into sin bx formula. So it is written here. And now you need to evaluate from 0 to infinity, because again it is from 0 to infinity because of the same reason. So here it is while putting infinity here, e raised to minus infinity will be 0, and while putting 0, this e raised to 0 will be 1, and this will become 0, and this part will be minus omega by 1 plus omega square. So 0 minus omega by 1 plus omega square will become omega by 1 plus omega square. Okay, so hence by Fourier integral representation theorem we have integral 0 to infinity a omega cos omega x plus b omega sin omega x d omega is equal to f of x. So that you just write here. So that's how this function's representation is coming. Okay, here one thing to observe is that even if I write instead of pi by 2, even if I write 10 here in the second part, it doesn't make any difference, because you know that integral 0 to 0 of 10 cos omega x dx is nothing but 0. Okay, so here whatever you take in the second part, whatever constant you take for the second part, since it is evaluated at a point, or it is defined only at a single point, the integral part will be 0. So that's why this will not have any effect on the value. This pi by 2 is not having any effect on the integral value. Okay, but so what it says is this integral representation is not true for all values of x. That you have seen in the Fourier integral theorem. It just says that for continuous points x only, this integral representation will be coinciding with the value of f of x. And for a discontinuous point, you need to calculate the left hand limit, right hand limit of the function, divided by sum them and divided by 2. If you just read the Fourier integral theorem, the statement will be there. And what I am trying to see is whether at a 0 this right side is equal to pi by 2 or not. So at 0 the function is having a discontinuity, right? Because until 0 it is coming as a constant function 0, and from 0 onwards it is going as pi e raised to minus x. It's a curve which is increasing. So at x equal to 0 there is a discontinuity. So at a discontinuity point you need to say that the integral is equal to the discontinuity point is 0, so f of the integral is equal to f of 0 plus f of 0 minus divided by 2. And here f of 0 minus is from left side you are approaching by 0, and from the right side you are approaching by pi into e raised to minus x, but as x goes to 0 it will become pi into e raised to 0, which is pi. So that's why the right hand limit will be pi. So 0 plus pi by 2 is equal to pi by 2. If you are having any confusion regarding this, you can see the Fourier integral representation theorem. Fourier integral theorem. Okay, so that's why we can say that. So the answer is pi by 2, right? So this integral representation is actually true for the point x equal to 0 also. It is pi by 2. Okay, so if it was not pi by 2, suppose I have written it as 10, then also your a omega and b omega will be the same, and you can write this expression, that is f of x equal to this. But you should mention that at a point of discontinuity the value is going to be 0 plus say that value pi by 2. The function's value will not be equal to 10. If it is 10 written here, instead of that it will be pi by 2. And here by our left it is written already pi by 2. Of course what I am saying is the integral representation is this, but this may not be true always. It is true, it is guaranteed to be true only for the continuity points. So for a discontinuity point it is better to check using the right hand limit and left hand limit of the function. Now we go for another problem. This is a typical problem for finding the cosine integral representation. So function is given, it is a simple function. It is 1 for 0 to a, and beyond a it is 0. So it is given on the right hand side, that is positive values only. And you have the cosine integral representation a omega cos omega x d omega. What you have to find is a omega. A omega is nothing but 2 by pi integral f of x cos omega x dx, and here the function is non-zero only in the interval 0 to a. So we will be having 2 by pi 0 to a 1 into cos omega x dx. So just evaluate it and you get 2 by pi omega sin a omega, because sin 0 is 0, right? So substitute it and that's all, you get the answer. And again another simple problem to find the cosine integral representation. Function is given in 2 branches, and during 0 to a the function is given as e raised to minus x, and beyond a it is 0. So this part you don't have to evaluate at all. So a omega, again the integral representation is going to be 0 to infinity a omega into cos omega x d omega equal to f of x. So a omega has to be found by the formula, and again here you have e raised to minus x into cos omega x dx, which is same as in the first 2 problems. It is to be evaluated, and you substitute a here, so it will be having e raised to minus a into this, everywhere you need to put x equal to a, so you get this, and 1 by 1 plus omega square can be taken out. And while putting 0, we will be having e raised to 0 equal to 1 and sin 0 equal to 0, and what remains is minus 1. So minus of minus 1 is plus 1, so this will be plus 1. So you just substitute that a omega here and the problem is over. So this is a typical problem. And this is again a standard problem. F of x, you need to represent f of x as a sine integral, where f of x is given as sin x in the interval 0 to pi, and beyond pi it is 0. So you need to evaluate only from 0 to pi, and the function is sin x. In that interval the function is sin x. So here this is a tricky problem, like you cannot directly integrate it because it's a product of 2 functions, and using integration by parts also will not give you the answer. So what you have to do is you have to split it into the sum of 2 factors. You can use the formula sin a sin b formula, that is minus 1 by 2 cos a plus b minus cos a minus b formula there, and you evaluate it. Cosine integral is sine, and this is also cosine, so the value will be sine constant x by constant. So you just evaluate it, and this is okay for the problem. And if you want to simplify it, you can take an LCM of these 2. So LCM will be 1 plus omega into 1 minus omega, which is 1 minus omega square, and while multiplying this 1 minus omega to this term and 1 plus omega to this term and simplifying, you will get 2 sin pi omega on the numerator. Okay, and that's because the sin pi is 1, no sorry, sin pi is 0, and here also sin pi will become 0. So sin omega pi is not equal to 0 because omega is not an integer. That's why sin omega pi cannot be 0. Okay, need not be 0. So the sign representation is just take that d omega, either this or this. If you take this, if you can do only this much, you can take this much and substitute here, no problem. Since we have a simplification, I have written the simplification here along with the sin omega x. I have taken a simplified part of this a omega, that's all. Again another problem, you need to represent f of x as a sine integral, where f of x is again given in 2 branches, 1 minus x for 0 to 1, and beyond 1 it is 0. So ultimately you need to integrate only from 0 to 1, and the function is 1 minus x. So 1 minus x into sin omega x dx. So integrated, it is just sin omega x minus x into sin omega x. Sin omega x will be having a direct integration, and for x into sin omega x you need to use integration by parts. This first function into integral of second function minus etc. So I have evaluated it, and you need to evaluate from I have integrated it, and you need to evaluate from 0 to 1, and this will be having okay, the denominator is having omega square here. So you can put an omega here and make a denominator omega square, put again an omega here and make denominator omega square, so that you can write 2 by pi omega square. So there will be an omega coming here, and there is here it is not needed. Now evaluate it to 1 and 0. So you get the answer omega minus sine omega into 2 by pi omega square, and you just verify this by evaluating this. And so the sine integral representation is integral 0 to infinity 2 by pi omega square into omega minus sine omega into sine omega x d omega equal to f of x. So that's all. So this finishes the sine integral representations. We will be seeing transform problems in another session. Okay, thank you.